On GoppoDotBeshiOriginals, presented by Kotha Manobi Kumar Hotto, today we bring to you A Girl on the Train, a short story written by MD Asif. Born in 2002 in the town of Berhampur, Murshidabad, MD Asif is an emerging writer and a second-year student of computer science and engineering. We are thankful to him for his interest in presenting his work through our channel. You can also read A Girl on the Train on his Instagram, the link for which is available in the description below. Oh, and yes, you can now listen to our stories on Spotify too. Just search for GoppoDotBeshi, that's GOPPO space DOT space BESHI. And if you have an original story of your own, you can send it to the email address mentioned in the description. The selected stories will be narrated right here on GoppoDotBeshi. So, shall we begin?
She's sitting, facing me just 3 feet away. Her name is Myra. I heard it a few days ago, but a friend of hers called her by it. Today, she's wearing a simple mint green kurti with a white palazzo, and she looks adorable in it. I first saw her a month ago on my way back from work. I work for a life insurance company in Krishnanagar, although I'm not a good one. I knew I was not made for this kind of job, but it's hard to find a job these days. So there was nothing to do, but that one thing I've understood being an insurance agent is that life is never going to be fair to you. You can get insurance worth over 1 crore rupee if you die, but only 15 to 20 rupees an hour to survive. The day I first saw her was like any other day. I boarded the train from Krishnanagar station and sat on a seat in the general compartment. The day I was scolded at the office for late attendance. Though it wasn't new, I often get scolded for showing up late or sometimes for not being able to sell enough insurance. When I first saw her, I was in a depressing mood. She boarded the train at Bethodar station. She was wearing a white printed kurta and her shiny little messy, maybe from work, black hair hung just above her waist. And her eyes, oh God, they were mesmerizing spectacle, the epitome of beauty itself. They were like the wide open sky of the world of dreams. Her eyes were so full of life that I kept staring at her throughout the journey. But somehow she felt very familiar, as if I had known her for a long time. She and her 2 friends got off the train at Beldanga station and I got off the train at the next station, Berhampur Court. And thus commences our weird rendezvous, a delicate ritual of mine. Each day, I find myself nestled in the familiar confines of the same compartment, anticipating her arrival. And there she appears, a silent muse. Her gaze never once meeting mine, yet in those 40 fleeting minutes, bliss envelops me like a warm embrace. In the sanctuary of her presence, my worries dissipate, my burdens lifted by the ethereal glow of eyes. In the depths of eyes, I try to find a way out of this miserable life. I sometimes wonder if she ever notices me, even for once. She, however, enters the same compartment and sits in the same seat every day. She could have entered any other compartment, but she always chooses this one. That means something, right? Maybe she notices me too. I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe I like to think so. But today, she looks a little worried. Her 2 friends are talking, but she is quietly staring at the outside through the window. I tried to overhear their conversation and realized that they were talking about the train accident that happened on its way back from Kolkata a year ago. That day I was on the train too. It was a horrific incident, but luckily I survived. But my friend Aditya could not. She might have lost someone in that accident too. I felt sorry for her. I was looking at her and suddenly she looked back. I immediately looked down, but still, our eyes met for a split second. It was the first time she looked back. And what did she see? I was staring at her. Shit. Now she probably thinks I'm cheap. The train stopped. I looked outside and saw Beldanga station. I gathered some courage and slowly looked at her. I got a glimpse of her face as she got off the train. She seemed to be smiling. Wait! She was smiling! I screamed inside the train. Everyone in the compartment looked at me in shock. I slowly sat on my seat and I apologized to them. Alighting from the train, I hailed a taxi homeward bound. I pushed the front door and stepped into the solemn scene of my mother weeping on the sofa. For months she had battled illness, a silent struggle that had stolen her strength and left her frail. The weight loss was evident, and her once vibrant eyes now held shadows of exhaustion. Sleep eluded her, and in her forgetfulness, she sometimes left the door unlocked. But we lived in a safe neighborhood, and I reassured myself that all would be well. Since my return from the hospital, I have witnessed this transformation, the slow unrevealing of her spirit. She spent hours in her room, surrounded by faded photographs of my father. She probably misses him. I miss him too. My father died of a stroke 3 years ago. They loved each other very much. I always wanted someone who I could love like this. And now, maybe I have found someone. As I stood there, watching my mother weep, I realized that love was not only about shared memories, but also about creating new ones. And in this quiet house where echoes of my father lingered, I dared to hope for her, for myself, and for the possibility of love rekindled. Closing the door, I went to her, gave her a hug, and said, "It's all right, Ma. Please don't cry. I'm here with you." I took her to my room and had tea together. I told her, "We should visit somewhere nice, don't you think? A little change will be good for you." She strangely looked at me and said,
"Are you alright, Akash?"
"Yeah, I'm great. Why do you ask, Ma?"
No, you have been acting a little strange for a while now. I'm just worried. Do you remember to take your medication regularly?
"Absolutely," I replied, even though I wasn't. Those pills make me so drowsy and they affect my ability to function properly and perform well at work. I've already faced a lot of embarrassment because of it. Just answer me, don't you want to go somewhere nice? But she gave the same answer as always.
No, you have got the doctor's appointment next month. It's essential and we can't skip it.
"But Ma..."
Enough with buts. It's not negotiable. It's priority, plain and simple.
Last night, I had the most beautiful dream of my life. In this reverie, I leaned in, my breath a fragile offering, and I murmured those 3 sacred words, "I love you." Without a syllable spoken in return, she enveloped me in her embrace, her lips meeting mine in a silent symphony of love. Such was the vividness of the dream that I could taste her essence upon my lips. A sensation so divine, it lingered with me even upon waking. Upon rising, my first impulse was to seek guidance from the vast expanse of the internet. How does one initiate a conversation with a stranger, especially one as captivating as she? Google's advice seemed simplistic, urging me to begin with a simple hi or hello, and then make a comment about something you have in common to pique her interest. I mean, I do not even know her. How do I know what we have in common? At that moment, the only common thing between us was the train. But what can I say about it? This train is very fast. I can already see her getting up from her seat and jumping off the train. Instead, I chose to surrender to the flow of the moment, trusting in fate to guide our encounter. Following the day's toil, I rushed to the station, boarded the train, and settled into my usual compartment. With practiced precision, I retrieved my phone, flipping it to the front camera to ensure my appearance was presentable. Each heartbeat reverberated with anticipation, coursing through my veins like a surge of adrenaline. As the train made its halt at GoppoDotBeshiOriginals station, my gaze fixated eagerly upon the door. Minutes passed, yet she did not enter. Instead, two of her companions embarked, their presence a bittersweet reminder of her absence. With a heavy heart, I watched as the train resumed its journey. Unable to tear my eyes away from the doorway, a pang of melancholy washed over me. She must be unwell, I whispered to myself, seeking solace in that thought. 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks passed like this, but she was never seen again. After 2 weeks, I started to get worried. What if something had befallen her? Surely her friends would be privy to any misfortune. So I made up my mind to talk to her friends the following day. But the next day, only one of them came. At GoppoDotBeshiOriginals station, as she stepped off the train, I followed suit. My curiosity piqued. Though I had never truly noticed her before, she appeared slightly shorter than Myra. "Ma'am!" I called out, hoping to catch her attention. She turned to look at me and immediately quickened her pace. "Ma'am, please wait a moment," I pleaded. "I just want to talk to you about your friend Myra." Ignoring my plead, she broke into a run. I stood there, momentarily stunned, then decided to give up and reboard the train. But then a thought struck my mind. Did she flee upon hearing Myra's name? The next day, I sat in the back seats so that they don't see me. When the train arrived at GoppoDotBeshiOriginals station, first the other one boarded the train and checked. I think she was probably checking for me. Then the short one got up. Seeing them, 2 men gave them their seats. They thanked them and sat there. The train started to move. I then found an opportunity and went in front of them. They both got scared at first. The short girl from earlier said to another girl,
"This is the guy. Yesterday, he tried to follow me."
I'm not here to disturb you, ma'am. I just want to know about your friend Myra. She has not been here for a long time. I'm just worried, that's it." That other girl stood up from her seat and said,
"I don't know you. I have nothing to do with you. But you tried to follow my friend yesterday, and that won't happen today. So just leave us, or I have to scream."
By this time, those 2 men heard her and came towards us.
Is this guy bothering you, ma'am? What the hell is wrong with you? They told you they don't want to speak to you. Then why are you bothering them?
No, sir, I'm not bothering them. I just want to... But before I could complete my sentence, one of them slapped me. Then the other one started to scold me by pulling my collar. I tried to explain, but they were not ready to listen to my one word. They forced me to get off the train at Publicity station, leaving me with no choice but to catch the subsequent train to Berhampur. However, an ominous feeling gnaws at me. I'm convinced that something dreadful has befallen her, and they, her companions, are hiding it. And I must find out what happened to her. Monday is the day I will confront them, no matter what it takes. On Monday, I headed to the office with a plan. Leave early and wait for them at GoppoDotBeshiOriginals station. During lunch, I approached my boss, requesting an early departure. My reason? I needed to take my mother to the doctor. Initially, he seemed a tad annoyed, but as the saying goes, excuses of our mothers tend to soften hearts. Eventually, he relented. I boarded a train from the station and arrived at GoppoDotBeshiOriginals by 5 p.m. At around 6 in the evening, their train pulled into the GoppoDotBeshiOriginals station. Coming to a halt, I positioned myself a little distance away from the gate, ensuring they wouldn't spot me. The entire station lay deserted, devoid of any other travelers. Yet, it was only the short girl who got off the train, the steps leading her toward the main gate. I matched her pace, closing the gap between us. Initially, she remained oblivious to my presence, engrossed in her phone, fingers dancing across the screen. I approached her, standing directly in her path, my voice calm and measured. "Please don't panic," I said, my words hanging in the air. "I simply wish to ask you something." Startled, she looked up, eyes wide. Then, as if propelled by fear, she let out a piercing scream. Her phone slipped from her grasp, clattering to the ground. Without hesitation, she spun around and sprinted in the opposite direction. I followed suit, determination fueling my pursuit. Today I vowed I would not return empty-handed. Our chase led us through winding alleys, the fading light casting shadows on the worn cobblestones. Finally, we arrived at the end of an ancient, secluded passage, a place where secrets whispered and destinies collided. She started crying and begging. "Ma'am, you don't have to worry. I'm not here to harm you. I promise. What is your name?" She was silent for a second. Then she looked around in fear and said,
My name is Amrita.
"Okay, Amrita, look, I'm just here for your friend. Why is she not coming for a few days?" Her words began to tremble.
Raima? She was not feeling well, so she couldn't go to work today.
Not that one, the other one, Myra.
What? Myra? I do not know anyone named Myra.
Don't lie to me. I know you know her. You two must have done something to her and now you two are trying to hide it. She began sobbing once more, her left hand trembling as it reached into her purse. From within, she extracted a small knife and started moving that knife wildly. I backed away a little to save myself, but she didn't stop. She kept coming towards me. I realized she's not in her senses anymore. So I plucked up some courage and lunged at her to take the knife from her hand. In doing so, I got some deep cuts on my hand, but managed to wrest the knife from her hand. She knelt in front of me and started crying again. "Look, Amrita, look. I'm not here to hurt you. Just tell me what happened to her, and I will leave."
My parents are waiting for me at home. Please let me go. I have never met a girl with this name in my life. You may be mistaking me for someone else.
How can this be possible? I've been seeing all three of you for 1.5 months. I'm not making any mistakes. Then why are you lying? Wait. Did you two kill her? No. You were friends. You couldn't kill her. You did not kill her. Did you?
I swear to my parents that I haven't killed anyone. I don't know anyone named Myra. Please let me go.
Then what are you saying? I'm crazy? I saw you every day talking to each other, smiling at each other. How could this all be wrong?
I swear, Raima and I used to go to office and come back. No one else was with us.
Stop. Just stop. If you say one more time that you don't know anyone named Myra, I will do something that I don't intend to do. Okay? I already told you I do not want to harm anyone, so just admit what you two did and I will go away. Admit it! Admit what you and your friend did and I will leave you alone. We both remained silent for a while. She was crying with her head down. After a while, she raised her head, wiped her tears and said in low voice, Yes, we did. We both killed her. Hearing the words, my whole body froze. Why? I asked with a trembling voice. She stood there for a minute and then said,
She was so beautiful that we did not even get a single attention from anyone around her. She was getting promotion after promotion, but we were not even getting a single one. We knew she was seducing our boss to get the promotions. You can't understand how bad it feels when you do all the hard work and someone else gets the promotion only for her beauty. She said in a cold voice. I knelt on the street holding my head,
the whole situation started messing with my head. All the moments of Myra started to flash before my eyes. The whole body started to shiver in pain and anger. I suddenly lost control, ran towards her, and started stabbing her with a knife, over and over and over until I stopped shivering. Her head was on my shoulder. For once, it felt like she said something in my ear, but I couldn't understand it. A slight movement of my shoulder made her slowly twitching body fall to the ground. I dropped the knife there and started walking towards the station, my heart still racing from the encounter, retrieving her abandoned phone. I couldn't help but notice the flurry of missed calls and frantic messages from someone named Raima.
What are you doing, Ammu? Where are you? Why are you late? I'm worried sick. Call me Asif. Amrita, are you okay?
The urgency in the messages was clear. Deciding to halt the stream of inquiries, I powered up the phone and slipped it into my pocket, pondering the enigma surrounding its owner. Just then, a train came and stopped in front of the station. I got into an empty compartment and sat on a seat. I looked at my hands. They were covered in blood. I immediately stood up from my seat and washed them at the tap. I rubbed them very hard to remove the stains, but they could not be removed at all. I looked at my clothes. They were also covered in blood. I sat by that tap and kept asking myself one thing. Did she deserve it? The woman who had taken from me was one bright spot in my otherwise bleak existence. She was a murderer. That much was certain. But what did that make me now? I don't remember how I got back home from the station. By the time I regained consciousness, I was already inside the house. I straight went to my mother's room. She was sleeping, holding a picture of my father. Gently, I pressed a kiss to her cheek. The warmth of her skin anchored me, grounding my swirling emotions. Sitting on the floor, I rested my head against her bed. Tears welled up, unbidden. How could I share the weight of my heart? The words tangled in my throat, refusing to emerge. I longed to tell her everything. The ache, the fear, the unspoken truths. But language of grief eluded me. Suddenly, my tenderly patted my head and asked,
What's wrong, Akash? Why are you crying?
Upon hearing her voice, I couldn't contain my emotions any longer and began sobbing uncontrollably. She quickly rose from her bed and cradled my head in her lap, comforting me.
It's all right, Akash. Calm down. Tell me what's troubling you.
Tears streamed down my face, but I managed to find my voice amidst the emotional storm. Ma, I choked out. I have done something terrible. But please try to understand. It wasn't entirely my fault. They have taken away the one truly wonderful thing that have ever entered my life. My mother gently lifted my head from her lap and switched on the bedside lamp.
Hold on. What are you talking about?
In the lights, she noticed blood stains on my hands and shirt. Anxiously, she began wiping away the blood with her arshel and asked about how I got injured and why I was bleeding. However, she soon realized that it wasn't my blood, and fear crept into her whitened eyes.
Akash, what have you done?
I'm sorry, Ma. I'm utterly terrified. I can't fathom how I have ended up in this situation. It all began about a month ago on the train. There was someone I met. Someone so incredibly beautiful, Ma. Her name is Myra. But Ma, something dreadful happened 2 weeks ago. she disappeared.
Myra?
My mother's brow furrowed in confusion. Tears welled up once more, and through my sobs, I whispered, It was the two friends, Ma. They took a life. How could they do that, Ma? I witnessed them talking and laughing together every day. How can people be so unbearably cruel, Ma? My mother lowered her head, and tears streamed down her face. After a while, she retrieved a photograph from the nightstand beside the bed and handed it to me. I couldn't trust my own eyes. It was Myra. I couldn't possibly mistake those beautiful eyes of hers. Ma, I don't understand. How do you have a picture? I asked. Her eyes filled with sadness as she explained.
Akash, you met Myra 2 years ago on a train. You fell in love with her. You had a beautiful year together, but the accident happened.
Accident? What are you talking about, Ma? It doesn't make any sense. She burst into tears and said,
Myra, she's already gone, Akash. She died in the train accident a year ago.
Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine, freezing my whole body. I didn't want to believe them, but somehow I believed it. Somehow I knew it was true. But I was not ready to accept it. It's not true, Ma. No, it's not true. Why are you saying that? I was in that accident too. Aditya died, not Myra. I was with him. Her sobs grew louder as she shook her head.
There is no Aditya, Akash. He never existed. You just imagined him. The doctor?
She continued, her voice wavering with emotion.
The doctor said when an unimaginable incident happens, our brain creates a false story, an alternative reality to protect itself from the painful reality. It was left to me to decide whether to reveal this to you. I wanted to tell you this at the hospital, but I couldn't bear to shatter your world any further.
I flipped over Myra's picture. Some words were written on the back. The handwriting was mine, so I must have written it. If God gives me one wish, I will ask him to reset my life so that I can fall in love with you again. I looked at my mother. She was also looking at me, crying, and she whispered,
It's all my fault, Akash. That day, when you spoke of Myra, I pushed for you to introduce me to her that day. I kept insisting even when you said you would bring her another day. But with me, if only I hadn't pushed you, she might still be alive by your side. I can never forgive myself for that. Never.
I gazed at her confused, feeling tears stream down my face. A sudden warmth brushed against my neck, sending shivers down my spine. A muffled and familiar voice, twisted with agony, echoed in my ears, tormenting me with every syllable. I dared not turn around, paralyzed by fear and guilt. Yet I recognized that voice. It was hers, the girl I had killed just an hour ago. Her words, like sharp claws, tore through my soul, replaying her desperate pleas in an endless loop.
You said you'd let me go. You said you'd let me go.
maybe the mind can sometime make up a false reality, a different reality to guard itself from the things we fear, from trauma, from the horrors we can't imagine.
You have been listening to A Girl on the Train on GoppoDotBeshiOriginals. Introduction by me, Anirban, featuring Ritirekha as Amrita, Arunima as Raima, and Tiasa as Mother. Poster and thumbnail design by Souhardya, marketing by Ritirekha, and editing and background score by Hridakash and myself, Anirban. Narration, other characters, and episode direction by Shraman. We hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Stay tuned as Team GoppoDotBeshi will soon be back with many more stories to tell. Thank you for listening.